I can see a strain coming from Motilal Nehru, Jawaharlal Nehru, Indira Gandhi, my father. And the strain is that your purpose in life is to search for the truth. Even I don't view myself as a politician. I'm a seeker of the truth. I seek in everything I do. My grandmother told me that we've always had dogs. And it's just been a thing in our family that we always have dogs. The dogs are almost like family.
I suddenly disappear. You find Jawaharlal Nehru sitting here. क्या पूछोगे उनसे?
I say to him, tell me the one thing that you think I should never ever do. And I know the answer to that.
What is that?
Compromise with RSS.
नमस्कार, वेलकम टू द नेहरू सेंटर। नेहरू सेंटर में आपका स्वागत है। और आज एक विशेष व्यक्ति से हम लोग बात करना चाहते हैं। मैं उनका थोड़ा परिचय अपनी तरफ से दे दूं। उनका नाम है राहुल गांधी। पिछले 20-25 साल से देश का राजनीतिक पटल आप माने तो उसमें बहुत प्रमुख रूप से अपनी एक भूमिका निभाते रहे हैं। तो राहुल जी, थैंक यू फॉर गिविंग टाइम। आप पार्लियामेंट चल रही है उस बीच में समय दिया, इट्स रियली ग्रेटफुल। आपका क्योंकि परिवार रहा है, स्वाभाविक नेहरू जी से जुड़े रहे हैं। व्हाट आर योर फर्स्ट मेमोरीज ऑफ हिम? फैमिली में कैसे उनके बारे में सुना, क्या सुना? इंदिरा जी से सुना, राजीव जी से कुछ, समथिंग फ्रॉम सोनिया जी?
I've never been asked that question before, and when you're asking me that, he was everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And later I realized that in a lot of the things that my grandmother used to say to me, and the way she used to think about things, it came from him.
अच्छा.
But if you were to ask me what is my first memory, when did I first hear of him, I can't really tell you. I don't have one memory. And also, I mean, my grandmother would talk about him as Papa, you know, as
Papa
father.
या Papu?
Both.
Both. Okay.
I mean, to me, she would say my Papa or Papu. And she would talk about him just as a, you know, like the same way I talk about my mother or my father, and experiences, you know, that, for example, he really liked the mountains. Then I remember we were in Kashmir once, and she said, oh, you know, he almost died. He fell into a glacier.
ये कब की बात है?
I think he had gone trekking and then he had fallen into some glacier, and then
When he was prime minister?
no, much before.
Much before.
Yeah. So that story I remember, but I can't place which was the first time I heard of him. Also, the other thing that's underestimated, that the sense I got is that Jawaharlal Nehru was fundamentally shaped by his father. So his father also had a very important role in who he was and what he became. Underestimated role.
Motilal ji.
Yeah, Motilal ji. And his father was a very particular type of person. When you know, when Gandhi ji was thrown out of the train in England, so my great grandfather and his cousins decided that they would go to the railway station, Allahabad railway station, and throw some Britishers out of first class.
अच्छा.
Yeah. You know, so they went there and they pulled some Britishers out and threw them out of first class. It's not known, but that was his spirit was very interesting. He was a very unconventional person, you know, and he shaped, it's very clear to me that he shaped my great grandfather. This idea that is very deep in my family, that politics is actually about truth. And that the idea of having an image of you, a public image of you, is a fundamentally flawed idea. No matter how beneficial it might be, it's a fundamentally flawed idea. That is the central idea that Gandhiji, of course, completely lived by and took. And parallelly, Jawaharlal Nehru was also doing that. You know, I mean, I in his autobiography, I think, or one of his books, he writes that, you know, one of the things that's made me happiest in my life is that I've always had the courage to tell the truth.
Yes,
You know?
yes.
He says that. So it is this idea that, to me, is actually Nehru.
Rahul ji, another thing, now that you've been telling me this, and I think it's एक बड़ा इलाका खुलता है, जैसे जैसे आप बड़े हुए, कैसे कैसे ये कहानियाँ which came from more of a personal side of Indira ji, Pandit ji and others, और स्वाभाविक है कि since they were all political people and came through a great tumultuous period, you know, politics must have been as much a part of their life as anything else. How did you come to start knowing, say, the political Nehru, the political Motilal? वो transition कभी family में हुआ या कभी बातचीत में हुआ?
There was no political Nehru.
Okay.
There was no political Indira Gandhi. They viewed the world as completely connected. So they did not view themselves as being politicians. If you were to ask me how they viewed themselves, all of them. I never met my great grandfather. I never met Motilal ji. But I can see a strain coming from Motilal Nehru, Jawaharlal Nehru, Indira Gandhi, my father. And the strain is that your purpose in life is to search for the truth. And that's really how you view yourself. No matter what you do, that's the frame. My grandmother did not view herself as a politician. If you were to ask me, she viewed herself as somebody who was living their life and had multiple things that they were doing. And the idea that, there's no way you can take a Jawaharlal Nehru and encompass him by politics, right? Because my immediate response to you would be, okay, what about author? What about prisoner? What about resistor? What about, friend? So even I don't view myself as a politician. Other people say you're a politician, but no, I'm a seeker of the truth. I seek in everything I do, right? And I think that's a much better frame to understand them. The other strain that is there, and again, it was there in my father, it was there in my grandmother, and it was there in my great-grandfather, which is that they're not interested in what you think of them. They're not interested in what you will think of them. They're interested in action. They're interested in, I'm doing this now. And this is correct for me to do now. I'm not incentivized by what you will think of me 20 years from today or 30 years from today. So that other strain, right, that you're searching for your truth, which is